Okay, we got the flag all stained. I just kind of got it laid out. As you guys can see, got it set up on the pipe clamps. We're getting ready to do our glue up using Type Bond 2. I've already filled my my glue bottle, which this one here, this is the Glue Mate 150 by Miles Craft. I think I just ordered it on like Amazon, honestly. I think I have another new one up there. I know I did have some issues with this kind of clogging up after it sat a little while, but I was able to take it apart and clean it with some hot water and get it cleaned out. So other than that, it's been pretty good. I've had it, this one, probably a couple, 2, 3 years anyway, and using just one of the silicone brushes, Rockler. I do have one of the rollers. I don't think it's necessary for what we're doing here. And I do also have some of like the smaller disposable, like the acid brushes. But I normally use those for like if we're, putting pocket hole plugs or something like that, like a smaller area I can't get this one in, or, something I'm just going to get rid of. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take these. I'm going to move these over. We're going to flip them all up on this edge. All right. So basically, we're just going to glue that edge. And obviously it'll push up against the other one. So I'll start right here. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue right on there. I'll come back and add some more if I have to once I start spreading it, but I'm just going to go ahead and run it across. I probably should have put paper down just because a squeeze out might make a mess underneath, but we'll be able to clean it up pretty easily, so we'll be all right. I'm just going to keep going, running this back and forth. Add a little extra in some of these areas that it skipped. Let the air escape out of this. We can, there we go. So we can get a good squeeze. There we go. Keep going. Yeah, if you guys see, I have all these numbered. You might not even be able to see, but they're all numbered. That's how I did it when we first cut the pieces of wood before we even started grinding them or shaping them. So this way we're able to keep them all in the exact order we need to, and we don't get them out of order. So, all right, we'll get these last couple here. We'll get this glue on, then we'll start spreading it out. These pipe clamps here, these are actually the only two I have, which I probably will invest in some more in the near future, but haven't really done any huge projects that I've needed them for. So, but we're using them today, of course. I already got a big hump on that side, so we'll just wipe that off. We're going to come back, and anywhere where the glue squeezes out, we'll end up wiping with a wet cloth. That's the easiest cleanup for wood glue, is just using a wet cloth, and we'll get all that cleaned up. So it's all just these shallow areas. It's kind of pushing out on me, but we'll be all right. And we're not screwing this or anything. This is all strictly just going to be glued and clamped. The glue itself is going to be plenty to do the holding. We'll add a little extra in here. Yeah, so as we're spreading this out, we'll just take them and we'll end up flipping them up, pushing against the other ones. We'll make sure we keep it nice and square. I'll end up grabbing one of my squares to make sure we got it squared up, but it should be pretty easy to keep it square just because of the shapes of the boards and stuff like that. So as long as we get that stuff lined up, it should be all right. So I'm just throwing a little extra there. Probably right in here too. That's kind of rough. It looks like it's taking a lot of the glue. I'd rather have it squeeze out, make sure we get it covered good. Like I said, we'll be able to just clean up whatever squeezes out. I prefer to have it squeeze out on the bottom side, but some of it is going to squeeze out on the top. For those of you that just started watching or haven't seen the other videos, I mean, you can go back and watch them if you want to see the complete build or each step. But this here, we just started with 2x4s, ripped them in half, and then I had a template that I made on the last one just out of, I think, like a piece of 1x stock or plywood where I traced the waves. And basically, we just traced each one of these, offsetting about an inch, which creates the kind of the direction of the waves, which I'll show you guys once we get this flip back over. Cut them all out on the bandsaw, gave it a sanding, burned them, stained them, and now we're doing our glue up. This is actually a giveaway / raffle item for a show called NAFA, which is the National Association of Fleet Administrators, which is for our other business, Defy Diagnostics, where we sell diagnostic equipment to the automotive industry. I mean, mostly like trucks and off-highway, but we do have software for cars and stuff like that, like code readers, things like that. If your check engine light was to come on, these are the tools that would be used to, I'm going to use, yeah, that's fine. We'll come back to that. Those are the tools that would be used to diagnose your vehicle as to what the issue is when your check engine light comes on. So we sell that equipment to fleet companies, and they have a show. The National Association of Fleet Administrators has a show coming up next week, and I wanted to do some type of raffle or giveaway. In the past, I think we raffled off like a battery charger or something, you know, things industry related. I wanted to try to do something different, something unique that might catch attention there, that would stand out as opposed to all the other kind of like, you know, common things you would see at one of those shows. So yeah, that's where we came up with this idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that in. We'll run this one in. All right. Let's get this spun around here. All right. So we ran those in, ran that in. I'm going to actually slide this one out some. I probably should have. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, yeah, we're going to do it that way. Yeah. And slide this one over, I think. Ah, all right. Now I'm making a fool out of myself here. Come on. There we go. All right. Better. I was just trying to get them somewhat even. There we go. Well, use this board to just kind of push them up to each other. Okay. Of course, my clamp there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of pressure on that. I'm going to go grab square. Of course, it's going to be a little challenging on that side, isn't it? Well, I might have to. I don't want to have to pull that clamp off. I might have to just pull it up and just kind of eyeball it to one of these lines here, which honestly, like I said, I mean, once everything lines up, it's really going to be what it is. I'm going to just grab a hammer and give a couple light taps on this side. As I squeeze it, I can see it's not. Yeah, I can clearly see it's not square here, so we're going to try to push this side out some. Just even using that board, now I can give it a couple love taps here. That actually don't look too bad. Just using this board to keep everything flush on this end. I think that's pretty good. This one, we'll give another tap. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty decent. How's this side? Yeah, we're good. All right, we're gonna go ahead now. I'm gonna try to keep these. I mean, that feels pretty decent. Try to keep these pushed down. That's always part of the challenge too. That's not bad. Just trying to get these kind of flush as I start squeezing. Yeah. There we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think we'll be all right. That was off a tiny bit. We got that better. This one here. Cool. All right. I want to be cautious not to squeeze too tight, because what can happen is it can cause it to buckle, which I had that happen on my last one. I was using just the regular bar clamps. That was before I had these pipe clamps, which I am going to throw some of these on as well. Yeah, we'll grab a couple other ones and I'll put those on too. But it ended up kind of causing it to almost bow in a sense. So we're going to put those on. I might throw one more. Yeah, we'll grab a couple more here. These ones should work. I'm gonna stick this one up underneath. And perfect. One more on the end. And then I'll basically just be waiting for this glue up to finish drying. So we'll probably end up waiting until tomorrow for that. And then at that point, we'll be able to take all of our clamps off. Yeah, that's good. Nice and tight. Yep, looks good. Still looks pretty flat on the back side. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, so there you guys go. I know this was a little bit of a longer video. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a wet cloth, go ahead and wipe this glue. I should have did it before I put the clamps on top, but again, I tend to get sidetracked. So you guys can see nice and flat on the bottom side there. You can see it up against the clamp. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to get this cleaned up and we'll come back to get the stars painted. Thanks for watching.